For being later. All right, thank you, sir. At this time, Mr. Joe Moses is going to lead us in our invocation, and I pledge allegiance. Please stand for the invocation and pledge.
Let us pray. Most kind and benevolent Father, we thank you for this beautiful day and all your bountiful blessings. We pray, Father God, for divine favor as you work with us and heal the bodies and heal the nation and heal the world, Father God, as we face this COVID-19 crisis. We pray for divine wisdom and insight for this body as they deliberate on the business of this community. And we give you all the praise and all the glory for us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Let us
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I heard him. I heard him. Thank you, Mr. Mosley. Commissioner Stevens reminded me that one of our community leaders passed away, Ms. Sally Richardson, who had served the DFACS director for several years in Liberty County. She was a member of a constituent of his district, so I'll let him say a few words in Ms. Richardson's honor.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for us taking the time to recognize Ms. Richardson. Like I said, she was committed to the community as a leader. Like I say, she always worked. She worked at DFACS, and she also helped many others to receive jobs at DFACS during her time. She will be eulogized on Saturday. I'm looking for the time right now, but it will be Saturday at Midway. The interment will be at Midway Congregational Church. The funeral service will be at the Dorchester Funeral Home at 1 p.m. So let's keep the family in prayer.
Thank you, sir. All right, our minutes would require our approval. Have you had time to look over them, commissioners?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the minutes.
All right.
Second.
Motion and second from Commissioner Thrift and Commissioner Stevens to approve the minutes as presented. Any further discussion? There being none, all in favor, please raise your right hand. All opposed? The minutes are approved. Thank you. Right on into our departmental reports. LCPC is coming before us.
How are y'all doing tonight?
Hello, sir. How are you?
Too bad. Out for just a little bit. All right, our first petition tonight is Variance 2021-6 LC. This was submitted by Mr. Josh Wheeler on behalf of the owner AOI South, which is him. But this is for a variance to decrease the side setbacks of a property from 10 feet or from 15 feet to 10 feet. The property is zoned R2 for single and two-family residential, and it consists of 0.39 acres of land, more or less, further described as parcel 281A52, and it is located in District 4. Here is our legal ad as well as our sign. This is out in the Isle of Wight area. So if you come off of, so this is like the 95 part where Isle of Wight, kind of the upper northeastern part, I guess, of Isle of Wight. You come up on this side of 95. And it's in sort of the southern area of that. Hard to describe. Isle of Wight's a big place. But yeah, it's on Isle of Wight Road, and then Gwendolyn Drive is down on this side here. So it's this one specific piece in question, this kind of long, skinny piece here. Y'all may be aware that there's a lot of pieces that look like this out in Isle of Wight that are non-conforming. They are they don't have enough lot width for the zoning that they've been assigned. The minimum required lot width is 80 feet for these parcels, and this one's only 60. So you can see that all the properties around it are also zoned R2, same as this one. So as far as our variance conditions, there are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to this piece of property. Yes, this lot is exceptional because it has a lot width of 60 feet and is zoned R2, which requires a lot width of 80 feet. These parcels, by the way, were all cut before we had our standard zoning that we do now. You know, the lot widths back then didn't reflect what we have come to require from R2 zoning now. The application of the appendix to this piece of property would create an unnecessary hardship. So as it is right now, as I said, there are 15-foot setbacks on either side. This is a 60-foot lot. That leaves 30 feet for a single-family home, which is what the lot is intended for. So any single-family home would have to fit in that 30 feet width. Such conditions are peculiar to this piece of property. No, there are many other properties in this area that are similarly non-conforming, as I mentioned. Relief, if granted, would cause no detriment to the public good or impair the purposes or intent of the ordinance. So just for a summary, parcel zoned R2, which requires a setback of 15 feet on each side. It's 60 feet in width, leaving only 30 feet of room for a house. This is limiting in the construction of a single-family site-built home, which is one of the permitted uses of the R2 zoning district. So our LCPC recommendation is approval with standard conditions.
All right. Kelly's not here. I guess Joey is on you. Maybe Jeff. I was just thinking, when we run into these kind of lots, and there are several out there in the county, that would prohibit, as you said, someone from building a single-family home on a lot. Commissioner, do we need all those to come to us, or should we look in the future at giving them the authority when it's these kind of lots that are grandfathered in? Well, I guess it would be grandfathered in. So that LCPC could make that decision without, does need to come to us on a case by case by case by case by case basis. See what I'm saying?
I do. Only thought process there is this one doesn't have any opponents to it.
Yeah.
Or the reason it's for.
Gotcha,
We
gotcha.
have some that want to do accessory buildings like we had.
Yeah.
Previously, where
Yeah.
landowners that are concerned. It would simplify it.
Yeah.
But you may have some issues come up. Maybe Jeff and I can talk about that if you want us to research that a little bit.
Please do.
And see kind of what options there to
Yeah.
make this.
Because there are several of these out there that,
Right.
you know.
Right. And make it easier on the property owner.
I will let you know we have another one of these exact ones coming to you next month.
See it? Already. All right, okay, yeah. If you and Jeff will talk about that and bring us back a recommendation, please, sir. All right. Recommend approval, sir?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Jones, he said District 4.
Yes, sir.
And once again, the commissioners always yield to the commissioner from the district to make the recommendation. And sometimes that commissioner will pass to another commissioner. So it's your choice. You can either make a recommendation. If you want to, you can pass. They're recommending approval of the variance.
Question, Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
What is the structure that is going to be, the parcel is going to be used for?
It will be a single-family site-built home.
Okay. All right, I will move for approval, or go forward with the approval of the variance.
Okay, is there a second?
A second.
All right, now, let me go back. My bad, I was asking Joey. But Joey said there was no opposition, so.
We got no calls one way or the other.
All right, okay. It's another thing I always look at, did anybody oppose it? Because the neighbors have the right to say yea or nay. They can't necessarily stop it, but they can at least raise their concerns about the project and then come and ask questions too. But there was no opposition to that, so, all right. All right, so the commissioner makes the recommendation, the motion for approval, and there's a second. Any further discussion? There be none, all in favor, raise your right hand, please. All right, the motion passes.
Thank you. I just got one more zoning action for you.
This is zoning, so we need to go into public hearing.
Okay, Chair, entertain a motion to go to public hearing for a rezoning matter.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion second, we need rezoning. All in favor, raise your right hand, please. All right. Go ahead, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. So this is rezoning 2021 8LC. This was submitted by Mr. Brandon Boyce on behalf of Sharonda Tippins, who's the owner, to rezone 2 acres, more or less, from B2, which is for general commercial, to AR1 for agricultural residential. Sharonda Tippins is the woman who's interested in buying it. Sorry, Horace Welch Jr. is the current owner of the property. And it is further described as parcel 16450. And it is located in District 1. So here is our public notification as well as our sign. This is on Lewis Fraser. If you can see where we are, this is Coastal Highway right here, so it's a little bit before we hit that intersection. And here's a closer picture of it, and Lewis Frazier's up to the north here. So let's see here. There we go. So this is kind of a weird parcel. It was actually in a past life. It was zoned AR1. Some time ago, the Board of Commissioners did vote to rezone it to B2. It was never used for any commercial use. It's just been sitting there for, I think, 12 years now. And so the applicant is petitioning to have this rezoned back to AR1 so that they can put a single-family home on it. So just some notes. The property is designated agricultural and forestry by our comprehensive plan, and that allows for residential properties. There are homes on nearby properties, and the ones that don't have homes are undeveloped. And just again a note, the parcel was previously zoned AR1 before the BOC rezoned it to B2. So the comprehensive plan has designated this parcel for agricultural and forestry uses, so that includes residential uses. Its current commercial designation is not in line with the comprehensive plan, so rezoning this would move it into conformity with the comprehensive plan. And the property is additionally surrounded on all sides by A1 and AR1 zoning, and the adjacent properties are mostly forested. So we are recommending approval on this with standard conditions.
Okay. Any opposition to this?
No comments one way or the other.
No? Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready to make a motion.
Yes, sir. All right,
Make a
Commissioner,
motion that we zone the property back to AR1.
is there a second? Motion and a second. Commissioner Frazier, all right. We approve LCPC's rezoning for this property. Any further discussion? There being none, all in favor, raise your right hand, please. Those opposed? All right, it's done, sir.
Thank you, sir. And if all y'all could remember to sign those little forms, the financial interest statement.
I got you this time.
Okay. Come collect those at the end.
Well, here you go.
Entertain a motion to come out of public hearing.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second?
Second.
Second. All in favor? Raise your right hand. All right, back in the regular session. All right. Hi,
Hello.
how are you?
So I'm here to present the final plat for Richmond Pass subdivision. This was formerly known as Auburn Ridge Phase 2. And then when the submission of the final plat, they gave it a new name. This is, the developer is Dryden Enterprises, and MESAC Engineering has done the design for this work. It is 46 single-family homes on 20.12 acres on Charlie Butler Road. So this is the interchange. Here's Oglethorpe here, and then Charlie Butler here. The Midway City Hall is right in that corner. I'm flipping this map around because this is how the actual plat is oriented. Here is the interchange again with 95, and Oglethorpe is here. Midway City Hall is in this location here. And this originally was 4 individual deeds that they have recombined into one. This is the overall site plan showing the plat. It's not part of the subdivision. It's not actually part of the official final plat, but this gives you it all in one. The parcels that I've highlighted in green are the common space drainage parcels, drainage and wetlands, that are going to be dedicated to the HOA. And then right here, this little pink parcel is for the pump station, and as you recall, the city of Midway is supplying water and sewer services to this subdivision. They chose in 2019 to de-annex their portion of it and basically so the entirety is in Liberty County. So this is the first half, the bottom left half or northern part of the plat. This is part of one of the official sheets of the plat itself. Again, here, all this area back here is that common drainage area, and this is part of it right here. The Valley Court is down here, and this is Richmond Pass, and this is Summit Circle over here. And then connecting over to the southern part, there again, here's the drainage down here, and this parcel right here is the pump station tract. And then the third page to the official plat is this right here, which Gives you all the parcel data here and all the signature blocks. So as I mentioned, this property was originally in both the city and the county, and it was de-annexed. The minimal usable lot size is 6,000 square feet, and the lots range in size from 6 to over 16,000 square feet. The minimum width is 60 feet, and they range from 60 to over 150 feet wide. And the front, side, and rear setbacks are 15, 7.5, and 25 feet respectively. The lots along Charlie Butler Road are not allowed to be accessed directly from that road, and there is a note on that indicating that on the plat. There is also a buffer along the lots that abut this road. All but one of those buffers is 30 feet, the other one is 20 feet. And again, that is indicated on the plat. There are 2 sign easements that have been added to the final plat that weren't shown on the preliminary. They're at the northern entrance. Right here, these 2 little squares right here on either side are 20 by 25 easements for signage. Those are going to be dedicated to the HOA and will be the responsibility of the HOA to maintain. And as I mentioned, the subdivision was originally in 4 deeds, has now been recombined into 1, and that has been filed and recorded. So the dedications to the county include about 2,800 feet of new streets and the drainage easements for the functional maintenance of the stormwater management facilities. And that does include a couple ponds, a little bit of piping for the stormwater off the streets, and some swales. The HOA is being dedicated the 3 drainage and wetlands area, which is about 5.5 acres, and the sign easements. And as the city is serving it with public water and sewer, the pump station tract is being dedicated to the city. And as there are just some very minor easements where the water line or the sewer line cuts across a very small portion of 1 or 2 of the lots. And all these easements and dedications are indicated. All the utilities have been installed, and the remaining improvements are guaranteed by performance guarantees and letters of credit, and the amounts you see here, $96,680.40 for primary improvements, which includes paving, striping, and signage for the roads. It includes $143,280 for the secondary improvements, which are the sidewalks and street trees. And then, because the pump station isn't quite operational yet, there is also a $150,000 performance guarantee for the pump station. And in addition, there is the 2-year maintenance guarantee of $130,559.40. And this pump station bond and part of the water and sewer portion of the maintenance bond is in favor of the city because it is their utilities, their infrastructure, and the remaining of the bonds and the maintenance is in favor of the county. LCPC recommends approval of this final plat for the Richmond Pass subdivision with a special condition. And it is that prior to the issuance of the first certificate of occupancy, the pump station shall be operational and the city of Midway shall have accepted the dedication and deed for the pump station tract. We just want to make sure it gets officially into the hands of the city before anybody's actually using that pump station. And that is it.
That's it. Questions about this project? I'm going to have Marcus come up, I guess, if you will. Marcus, just out of curiosity, and not out of curiosity, from experience from being a commissioner, the lots that back up to the wet areas, are they going to drain properly?
Yes, sir, they will. We incorporated the wet areas into the design of the subdivision and are actually using them for the purposes of drainage. I think Mr. Dryden can attest, we put a lot of fill in that subdivision and raised most of the lots at least 3 feet. So we've taken all of that into account. I have no doubt that it'll drain well.
Okay.
In fact, it's been tested pretty well over the last 3 to 4 weeks, and we haven't had any ponding in the lots yet. So that's a good sign.
Yeah. Joey, because I'm assuming after a certain, well, you're going to have a HOA.
Yes, sir.
Now, Marcus, you and I both know sometimes they work, sometimes they don't.
And more recently, they have been working.
Yeah.
They have become more of the norm, especially in these higher density units where we're entering into these PUDs. We've had a lot of good results out of the HOA, so I feel like this will be a good one.
Yeah. Because when the Commissioner Jordan, when they cease to function, then they come knock on our doors about drainage, about streets, all those kind of things. So I just want to make sure that everything is in place. You know, we haven't had any problems out of Mr. Dryden's work, so I'm not saying that, sir. The work speaks for itself. I just want to, as a commissioner, we have to make sure on our side that in the long run, because those citizens, is the drainage that they come and about roads that they come to us. And when those things don't function well, they remind us that we pay taxes too. Yeah. And they remind us also that somebody, they tell us, nobody's responsible.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to set you up for the best success.
All
Mr. Dryden will be there every step of the way with the HOA until he completely turns it over. Trent Long, as y'all's our county engineer and inspector, has been with us every step of the way as well. So we're going to give you the best possible product we can, or have given you the best product.
You have.
Product we can.
Yeah.
I think it'll be, you'll be proud of it.
But I have, that's a commissioner's PTSD that we have when it
I understand.
comes to those kind of things. All right. Any other questions for Mr. Sack or Mr. Dryden?
I have none, Mr. Chairman.
All right, then Chair into the motion. Thank you, Marcus.
Chairman, I make a motion that we accept this, what is it gonna be called, the plans for the Richmond Pass subdivision.
Second.
Motion second that we approve this final plat. I will say this, we're always happy to see growth in the county, so we appreciate your dedication to that, and I know some other projects you have on board too, so we're happy, and just, I guess we all are taking notice of the growth in the Midway area on the residential side. It's really growing, so as a community, we just got to make sure now we able to attract the commercial side to it, industrial side to it, but appreciate what's going on residentially in Midway.
I'd like to add that we actually have 12 of these houses, of these lots sold, but homeowners are very anxious to get started, so I think it's going to be another project to come do very well for them.
All right, sounds good, sir, sounds good.
Yes, sir.
All in favor, raise your right hand, please. Those opposed? All right, Richmond passes shall be.
All right.
Thank you all. Thank you, LCPC. Thank you, Marcus and Mr. Dryden. All right, probation services contract, Judge Osteen. We normally only see you at budget time.
I don't get over here very often. I guess I'd like to start off by saying I'm not asking for any funding, any money, or anything.
Duly noted and recorded.
I'd like to be welcome back.
In perpetuity.
I have two issues before the commission tonight. I'm requesting the board to terminate the current probation services contract for Liberty County State Court. And the second issue, I'm requesting the board to approve the new contract for the new probation service provider. And just for y'all's benefit, I have two representatives from the new provider here to answer any questions you may have.
Okay.
Well,
How you want to handle it, Mr. Chairman?
give us a little more information. How shall I say it? As much as you can about the need for a change, sir, if you just will.
I've been the Liberty County State Court judge since April 2017. I finished the unexpired term of Judge Braun. Basically, it boils down to this. I feel that I've just simply lost confidence in the current probation services provider. To give you a little specific, I've had a chance to go back and look at the 2017 audit that was done by the Department of, I believe it's Community Services, I got it right there. And I looked at the most recent audit that they had in August of 2020, and two of the recommendations were exactly the same things that I've had concerns with. One, that there was just simply too many probationers per probation officer, that the ratio should be somewhere in lines of one probation officer for every 300 probationers. The 2017 audit, I believe, was one probationer for every 621, excuse me, one probation officer for every 621 probationers. And in 2020, it was one probation officer for like 588 probationers. I simply feel that I've expressed this concern with the owner and director of the company, and just I've been on him pretty good for about the last 2 years or so, and it just really just, in my opinion, just hasn't changed. I feel like I've given every opportunity to do so. For whatever reason, it just hasn't changed. My opinion on it is simply with too many probationers for one probation officer, it's hard to collect the fines. It's hard to do the community service. It's hard to see when somebody's charged with a DUI. There's certain statutory conditions that have to be done: DUI school, drug and alcohol assessment, community service. I just feel that a lot of things are just maybe just not being completed. So with that, I feel like a change is necessary. I've done some research and looked out for different companies. I actually checked around with different courts and talked to different judges, and simply asking this commission to approve the contract with the new provider, which is Southeast Corrections LLC. They have actually been in other courts. They're throughout the state. I guess in our area, they actually do the Chatham County's Recorder's Court. They do Bryan County State Court. They do Richmond Hill City Court, and probably some other ones that I'm probably missing. But I've actually talked to the judges of the Bryan County State Court and the judge of the Richmond Hill Municipal Court, and they had nothing but a glowing recommendation. They thought they were first class, first rate. They're a big organization. They're a big company, and they will be able to, I feel, meet the needs and the services that state court requires and that probationers need.
Okay. Not putting words in your mouth, but you would report to this commission, sir, that you have allowed the present company every opportunity to make the improvement necessary.
Yes, sir. I have, like I said, this April will be 3 years. Today is about 3 years and 11 months that I've been the state court judge. I would say no less than the last 2 years, I have been trying to work with the current provider.
Okay.
In court, I've been explaining to them that they need to get probationers to come. By the contract, if a person's delinquent, they're supposed to, within 90 days, if a person's been delinquent more than 90 days, they're to get them in the court. What I was finding was that they just simply weren't getting in court time enough for really me to do anything. Probation's about to expire, or they're letting, when it comes to trying to bring folks to probationers to court, that I've been finding that a year or longer have passed from when the show cause hearing should have been addressed. So with that, I just feel that a change is necessary.
Okay.
Yeah, I've worked.
All right, sir.
I've really talked to him pretty good
All right, sir.
for the last
Well,
at least 2 years.
We're dealing with local families, so I want to make sure everything's
No,
been
I
done.
understand. Matter of fact, I met with him in
Okay.
February 2020 about my concerns and about that I was wanting to make a change at that time. At that time, I was going to actually talk to the commissioners about maybe doing a county-based probation department, like an in-house. He asked me to give him some time. I did. And then in October, I sent him an email indicating that I was ready to go with the county. I still feel like changes were being made. Met with him in November. We addressed those. He addressed those concerns, wanted me to give him an opportunity. And when it came time I was giving him court dates in which to bring probationers to court, gave them their own date. When I was looking and kind of reviewing the calendars, I just felt like there was a a large amount of folks that just simply had done nothing. They've been on probation since somewhere 2018. A lot of them were 2019.
Okay.
And just felt like,
Okay.
based upon that, I just don't feel like the changes were being addressed or being addressed quickly enough to have an effective probation department. A lot of times when people go delinquent, you really need to make contact with them and get them in the court as fast as you can to go ahead and address that concern. And I'll just say this for everybody's benefit. The way I do state court, a lot of times, 95% of the way we punish people would be with a fine. My policy across the board is if you to pay the fine, but I've got no issues, no problems that if an individual would like to convert some of that fine or even all that fine to community service. So I'm pretty open about that, but I feel like they simply need to do something. I just felt like there was a lot of folks that just simply had done nothing. Haven't paid the fine, haven't converted to community service. There were some cases with DUIs that I've looked on the calendar that they haven't done the community service, they haven't done the DUIs, haven't done the drug and alcohol assessment. And I kind of feel that's attributable to the fact they just don't have enough probation officers.
Okay.
So,
All right.
the basis of wanting to go with a bigger company who would be able to provide a better service for our probationers. And in talking to them tonight, they are currently interviewing for 3 positions from folks in our area. If I'm correct.
Okay.
So they'll be hiring, hopefully 3 folks.
From our area? Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
To go ahead and staff the office.
Any other questions for Mr. Osteen about the proposal?
Judge, what was the amount of employees that this other person had?
Well, my understanding was there was 2 probation officers, including and then with the director makes 3 and a part-time. But that was my understanding.
And this was to cover how many counties?
The current provider, they serviced Liberty County State Court, which is by far their biggest provider. The biggest caseload they had was from Liberty County. So they did Liberty County. My understanding, they did Walterville Municipal Court, Midway Municipal Court, and McIntosh State Court. I think they may have done Darien City Court as well.
So, out of curiosity, educate me. Them providing services for Walterville and Midway, they'll still be able to do that?
Yes, sir. This only affects Liberty County State Court.
All right. Yes, that's what I need to know, sir. All right. Any other questions for Mr. Mr. Judge Osteen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Judge Osteen, how you doing, sir?
Good about you?
I've read all of the information that you submitted to us and understand the difficulties you appear to have with what's going on with the current services that we are using. Personally, I do not know the guy or the people or president or CEO that runs the current probation services that we are now using.
Yes.
But I think I'm aware that he has reached out recently to all of the commissioners, or I'm sure that I feel that everybody has been contacted by him. He said that he wasn't able to, or was not allowed to be on the agenda tonight to voice his opinion of what we are discussing. Is there any reason why he was not allowed on the agenda for tonight?
Let me address that. The policy of the board, Mr. Jones, has been not to debate issues on the floor of the commission chamber. It's been to act either for or against contracts for personal business matters. So unless the board wants to change that policy in the future to allow debate on the floor, that's the reason. I mean, basically, Judge Osteen had requested to come in pursuant to the law, I think that was provided, to follow up on his request for termination. It wasn't about allowing either company to come talk about what they could do. We're simply acting on the judge's request. And so normally matters like that are handled either by letter from the company to the commission or by private meeting with the chairman or somebody to talk about issues before they come to the floor.
Okay, my only concern about asking that question was because the information that he submitted to us sort of didn't match up with some of the explanations that you gave for, I guess, maybe the lack of his services or his explanation of some of the things were different than what you explaining. And I was just wondering if we ever had time to vet what he said properly before we make a decision on moving forward from his probation services.
George, you can correct me, I don't think we've ever used, that you used vetted recommendations for probation services. The recommendation that comes from the judge's
Judge.
office. And we use the judge as the expert on this. So kind of like Mr. Brown was saying, whether it's this proposal or another one, we would never have two competing, that a good word? Yeah. Representatives get on the floor and
Compete, right.
it would never end. Yeah, it would never. So take the information from provided. I know the gentleman, he sent, did you get an email from him or a letter?
Yes.
Okay.
Just a little bit of history too, and certainly whatever the board wants to do, is that the way the current contract was entered into was basically through recommendation of the then state court judge, as the chairman described, for their court coming to the Board of Commissioners. So I don't think it's really envisioned that the commission would decide what probation company handles what court, the judge would make those recommendations.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, just, I don't make this decision lightly. This is, I mean, I'll say this about the CEO and owner of the current provider, really nice guy. Went to law school, just graduated from law school, passed the bar. I mean, he's a good guy. I mean, he's a nice guy. I just simply have lost confidence in his ability to effectively run the probation department for our state court. I mean, he's a great guy. He's smart. I mean, he went to law school, passed the bar. But I don't know how else to say it other than the fact I just simply lost confidence. It's been hard for me just because I know him, I know his family. Puts me in a kind of a bad spot. But the way I look at it, whether it's right or however people look at it is wrong, I feel like I have a fiduciary duty to Liberty County.
That's right.
And as the judge, I feel like I've got to do what I think the right decision for state court, the citizens that attend state court and the probationers. I feel like if I feel like a service is not being met, I feel like it's a direct reflection of court. I feel, and again, I don't enter this lightly, but I just simply feel like that I've just got to make this decision because I feel like it's the right thing to do based upon the fact that I have a fiduciary duty. And so that's why I do, and like I said, I don't do this lightly. This has really put me in an awkward position. I like to be a people pleaser. And in this case, I know I'm not. But pushing my personal feelings aside, I feel like it is the right thing to do based upon that fiduciary duty. And I feel like I need to do this. And that's why I've initiated the termination of his contract. And I understand the statute that Mr. Brown is referring to. So.
Well,
Yes,
sorry,
ma'am.
Judge.
No,
I'm
you're
sorry.
good.
I
No,
don't have a
you're good.
question. I just had a comment. I was going to say, as the county grows, so does activity in the county that you see in your courtroom, I'm sure. And if we got to put some teeth into, if we put them out on probation, they either need to do their, what you've ordered them to do, and it doesn't seem like this may have hurt the other person a little bit, but some of his numbers are not jiving, and I'm sure you haven't even saw them. But it looks like they've decreased since you've taken office prior to whoever had it prior to you coming on board, as far as revenue coming in.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Like I said, I've only been, this April will be 4 years. So, 3 years, 11 months that I've
Yeah,
been,
it's
would you say, on the
gone
job. For the last 2 years or better, I have been talking to him. I've noticed that there are some issues that need to be addressed, and I've been trying to address those issues. But I just feel like that the time has come it's just time to put the needs of Liberty County, the needs of the probationers, and fulfill my duty as the judge and make a hard decision. And that decision is I ask this commission to terminate that contract.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I'm just like Jess Osteen. I know the family, along with a lot of folks in here. Commissioner Stevens hit, a very good spot there when he talked about funds. And we all live here, and if there's going to be any arbitration, it ought to be with this board. I'm kind of like, I understand what Commissioner Jones was saying about, being able to argue the sides on it. The duty of the state court judge, he stated it. Mr. Brown, he's backed that up. I don't care to sit up here, probably none of the rest of us do, to listen to two people argue about who's the best and who's not the best. I was here when the individual went to work with this probation service, and as bad as it is, decisions are hard. But with all that being said, I think it's time for us to move on. You'll entertain a motion, Mr. Chairman. I'll make a motion that we move forward with the probation services that Mr. Osteen has brought in here.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to say, on the agenda, the Judge Osteen's is an action item. And had the current provider, had he been allowed to be on the agenda, it probably would have just been for information. We wouldn't have to take an action. We could hear him, just go and state his case. But this is an action item, according to the agenda, and I guess we could decide not to take action on it, but it's an action item. And had the current provider been allowed to get on the agenda, and he did send an email, Commissioner Frazier just showed it to him, I think, yesterday, and I guess his position is in there. But that would be the same as if he stood at a day for information only. But this is an action item, and which I guess there's really no sense in a back and forth.
Yeah.
Let me say one thing, and I heard what Commissioner Jones said, and I said, every commissioner probably got, I was not contacted, telephone or email from this gentleman
No?
about any issue. Just want the record to stay that.
Me either.
Thank you.
Really?
Mr. Chair.
This is well my day.
I did receive an email, and then also in our packet, received some.
Yeah, this was in our packet.
Right. But
Walking up here tonight.
Whatever it's worth.
from my standpoint, I know both individuals, and I also know Judge Osteen. If he's saying that this needs to be done, I know it's a tough decision for him to even be in front of us right now.
That's right.
And with all due respect, he's the one who has to work
Work
that
with these
company.
people.
It's not any of us around here. So with that being said, I think Commissioner Walden was asked for a motion.
He'll have to restate his motion then, because of lack of a second, because we went into discussion. So if you restate your motion, sir.
Yes, sir, I make a motion that we move forward with a recommendation for, that Just Osteen has brought up here to terminate the contract and to enter into a contract with the new provider.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Any further discussion?
Just real quick.
Yes, sir.
And I thought we was gonna do that separate, but that's fine. That we put it together.
Do it together.
And how long will the new contract, what's the length on that one?
The most is be like for 5 years, but the terminate it, you just got to give 30 days written notice.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. You mean the contract with the new company?
that's correct.
Yeah.
Because it was like,
3 years?
3 years.
I'm sorry, 3 years.
Okay.
3 years, with 30 days.
Okay, all right.
notice to terminate.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Further discussion, please. That was a question I was going to ask about the length of the contract that we would be entering into, and you said that if we give a notice that we can't terminate it within 30 days.
Yes.
All right, also, well, no, I'm finished.
There was a request for the present company for some additional time. Am I right?
Like I asked him to come.
Yeah.
To answer any questions you may have, if you wanted to. I mean, I just,
I'm good.
they're here,
I'm
they're
good with
available if you wanted
recommendation.
to.
This your,
All right.
this is your profession?
That's other information.
respect it.
You asked them to come.
Y'all's committee,
Now,
y'all tell me.
another thing too, teaching moment, Commissioner Jones, when these kind of things come up, as commissioners, once we get information, we also have the opportunity to talk ourselves to those people before we ever get here. And that way you brought up to breast on what their concerns are too. It won't be many of these kind of occasions, but they do arise sometime. They do arise.
Mr. Chairman, further, I understand we haven't said anything about money, finances. Is there going to be a difference in what we are paying the current?
I can answer that. There's no fee to the county at all. The probation provider charges a fee, a probation fee, to the individual that's on probation. And that's how any probation company essentially makes their money. There is no cost, no fees whatsoever on behalf of the county.
Is that
Yeah.
fee regulated? I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman, I got,
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
regulated?
There's a board that they're subject
Yes.
to audits.
right. Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Just got one question, Judge, if you can, if you don't want to answer. Out of every dollar, what does the Liberty County receive from probation? Don't worry about it.
You look at Kim. It'd be fines and forfeitures, so.
I'd be estimating, and I don't want to estimate.
Don't do it.
I'm looking at the finance lady.
So did I.
I'm sorry.
We have discussed the lagging in those revenue
Yeah.
areas.
You can see it.
I have personally discussed this with the judge ever since he took office, actually, on state court fines, because if you'll remember, those fines were increased significantly a few years back.
They were, yeah.
So I think when he saw a couple of my reports showing those revenues down, it didn't align with with the increase in fines, and so yeah, hopefully we'll see more community service, and we'll see more restitution.
Mr. Chairman, also, I'll piggyback a little bit on what Commissioner Stevens said, and I do remember Jeff Osteen said, it's not about the money in the beginning. It's about community service.
Efficiency.
I understand, we're not in the money-making business all the time, and if it's his decision to charge money, that's one thing. If it's his decision to put it to probation or whatever, that's also his decision. It's his decision to void the contract, and, that's his bailiwick. That's yours. And I'm done with it.
Could I ask a question, Judge?
Yes, sir.
If it's okay, because there are two separate actions, and really code section addresses the ability for the judge to recommend or begin termination of a contract with the board to acquiesce in the termination. But then in the new contract, the judge specifically has to sign off on any new contract person. If the commission chooses to somehow be unsatisfied with a new vendor, it doesn't have the power to terminate without the judge's approval. Could we do that in two separate motions just because of that? Commissioner Walden, would you consider a motion to terminate the current contract and then offer a motion to approve a new contract?
I thought that's what I did, but, yeah, if the chair will entertain a motion, and you can scratch out all that I've already said,
You rescinding your motion.
I will follow the recommendation of the judge of state court that we terminate the contract that's in place now.
Second.
Motion second that we terminate the contract with the present vendor for probation services. And a second from Commissioner Stevens. Any further discussion? There been none, all in favor of terminating the contract, raise your right hand, please. Any opposed? All right.
Yes, sir, and at this particular time, Mr. Chairman, with your blessings, I will make a motion that we enter into a contract with the new provider that Judge Osteen has talked about here in the last hour.
Well, we don't see him often. Second to that?
Second.
Second.
Okay, motion second. Please name the new provider, sir.
Southeast Corrections.
Of this corrections, okay, all right. Any further discussion on that?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman. Are we aware of the owners or the people, CEOs of this new company that we are proposing to go to for our probation services?
Yes, sir, I think, as a matter of fact, well, I know you get a copy of the agreement there. To answer that question, yes, sir, we are. And I don't know, Mr. Chairman, certainly up to you whether you want to have them speak or if it's necessary or not.
Okay, that's-
Totally up
I don't
I asked them to come just for your benefit, if y'all had any questions. Totally up to y'all.
No, I don't have any.
No question.
I don't
I don't
plan
have
on
any
getting in
questions.
trouble, so I don't need to see them.
You're welcome to ask. You wanna- Okay, all right. No questions, all right. Then. Hey, y'all, good to have you in Liberty County. All right.
I'll say this, they are based in Georgia. They have, based right out of Duluth. Duluth is the
Duluth.
home office. They
Yeah.
got courts throughout the state of Georgia. In our, I guess, specific area, they do the Chatham County's Recorder's Court. They do Bryan County State Court, Bryan County Superior Court, Richmond Hill Municipal Court, Tybee Island Municipal Court. They do this Chatham County Superior Court pretrial diversion program.
I'd like to make one more comment, and I'm through with it. So we can move on with Mr. Eddie's motions, but
I'm already done with it.
I've been told one of the reasons that we looked into terminating the contract because the CEO of the present company recently moved to Atlanta, so therefore he couldn't be involved in day-to-day handling of his company. And now this company is based in Duluth, so they'll be not here on a day-to-day basis also. So I just wanted to make that point. That was one of the reasons that was said to be terminating the new contract, and we still have the same issue with the new providers. They won't be here on a day-to-day basis also. So I just wanted to make that.
Mr. Chairman. Yeah, and I'm thinking that part of the reason for the termination was performance.
That's what he said.
I mean, if they lived in France, if they're not performing, this is a performance issue, not a logistics or geographical. It was based on performance.
That's right.
That's what I heard.
If they were performing, you on the
Be
moon.
no problem.
The moon have been fine if they were performing.
All right. Make sure you're clear.
Yes, sir.
All right, all in favor of the motion? All right. All right, good to have you on board. Just do a good job for us.
Please, we don't want
I'll
See,
keep an eye on them.
see you in May.
Thank y'all. Anything additional?
No, you spent
job.
your hour already.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Ms. Oakley.
Bye. Good to see you. We already got one on probation.
Gary, you on probation?
Gary, you want to do this?
All right, fiscal year 2020 audit report. Mr. Trey Monroe, I guess Ms. McLaughlin, are you introducing? You gonna bring him up?
I can.
You gonna bring him up?
He's with Malden and Jenkins. He's a partner. He's been working with us for, is this 3 years? This is my second. This is your second, but yeah, we've been with Malden and Jenkins, but this second year, he's been the partner on the audit and does a great job for us. They also do the city of Hinesville. And he's just going to highlight for you the results of our fiscal year 2020 audit.
I think you're smiling behind that mask, so it must be good.
I am. It's nice to have some consistency, and that creates efficiencies, and It just makes things run a lot smoother.
Yeah. And I'm glad this gentleman's here and just walked through what we just had to go through, so he understands.
Fines and forfeitures.
I will be honest with you, it's amazing how
What?
the room clears out when the auditor comes. No, and to your point, I get to go to probably 50 or 60 of these a year, different counties, municipalities, special districts, and it's awful nice to see a group of people, even when you disagree, come to an agreement and can work together, and you don't often see that everywhere you go, so.
Thank you, sir.
Definitely something you all should be commended.
Got a great team to work with, sir.
Certainly. I think you were given a couple of documents. The audited CAFR is the big thick one, but I'm going to speak from the thinner one today, just to save us some time. So if you want to follow along with me, it's called our Auditor's Discussion and Analysis. It's got the picture of the courthouse on the front of it. If you flip over past all of the pictures and everything over to page 2, it just gives you some information about who we are as a firm. We audit about 500 governmental entities throughout the Southeast. We've been around since about 1918. And then the engagement team that served the county this year is down there at the bottom of that page. And then over on page 5, just some additional information about us, other industries we serve, and the services we provide. But I didn't come up here to sell myself or my firm. I came up here to talk to you about the audit. So if you flip over to page 4, I think of particular importance to you all is our independent auditor's report. I think, as you all know, that CAFR, that big, thick set of financial statements, is the responsibility of management. It's our responsibility as your auditor to provide opinions on that financial information based on our audit. And I'm pleased to report to you all today that we issued the county a clean opinion for its June 30, 2020 financial statements. That's what you're looking for. That's the highest level of assurance that we can provide. I think it's also important to note that we worked a lot with Kim and the finance department, and we were treated with the utmost respect. They're very professional folks. They got us what we needed when we needed it. And this is the second year in a row that we've gotten the audit out on time and met the state of Georgia's requirement to get it out within 6 months of your fiscal year end. So definitely all things that they should be commended for sure. So I think it's also important to note you all present a comprehensive annual financial report, or a CAFR, and that CAFR goes above and beyond the general required reporting requirements of a government. You have some additional information provided in those financial statements, a statistical section in the back, and then an introductory section that has a transmittal letter and some things like that just provide additional information about the county. And so, again, just wanted to point out that you do go above and beyond when it comes to your financial reporting each year. And that CAFR is submitted to GFOA, which is the Government Finance Officers Association, and their Certificate of Excellence program. And you all received that certificate last year. Your 2019 CAFR received that certificate, and it's been submitted for 2020, and we don't anticipate you all having any issues with receiving that sought-after certificate again for your fiscal year 2020 CAFR as well.
Good.
Just some quick, brief overview of some numbers specifically to your general fund. I like to point out at least one or two things. And if you flip over to page 8, that paragraph down at the bottom, one of the questions I always get is our government healthy? Is the county healthy? Is the city healthy? What have you? And one of the places I tell folks to look at, first of all, an audit really isn't designed to tell you that, but if you want to look somewhere in your financial statements to see that, look at your general fund and look at the fund balance in your general fund. And how many months' worth of expenditures do you have in your general fund balance? And as of June 30, you all had about 6 months' worth of expenditures in your fund balance. And that's what I would expect to see for a county government that's around 6 months into the calendar year, so your fiscal year is June 30. We won't start collecting on those property tax revenues until October, November, December. So we're going to need those revenues to kind of help us get through those months of July, August, September, October until we can start collecting property taxes again. So 6 months is a good, healthy fund balance, 6 months of expenditures is a good, healthy fund balance for your general fund. And the general fund had a pretty good year this year, too. It added to its bottom line by about $2.5 million. So that's definitely a good thing as well. If we flip over to page 10, just talks a little bit about some compliance reports. You know, you all received some federal grants. We're required to do some procedures on those. Just wanted to make sure you all were aware that we did perform those audits, had no issues as it related to those. Page 10 also starts some required communications. These are things that government auditing standards require us to communicate to you. I'll point out just a few things. If you flip over to bottom of page 11, we had no significant difficulties in performing our audit. Flipping over to page 12, we didn't have to discuss any significant issues with management. We did have some audit adjustments, nothing out of the norm. But we had no past adjustments, no uncorrected misstatements, which is definitely a good thing.
Good.
And then finally, at the top of page 13, we just want to make sure you all are aware that we're independent of the county in accordance with all the applicable standards of our profession. And then starting on page 13, just some recommendations for improvement. There were some findings this year, but these were the exact same ones we've had last year. I think we even were able to whittle some of those off last year that had been recurring findings in the past. Again, these are not new. I think they've been around for several years. But just wanted, again, to have them here and bring them to your attention.
Are they unique to Liberty County, or?
No, I would say that counties of your size, these are actually fairly common findings to see. Segregation of duties, a lot of times in our elected officials' offices, you just don't have enough people to be able to properly segregate your duties. And that's just something we have to bring to your attention. We want to make sure that those certain tasks are segregated in order to mitigate fraud. Not that we found anything in the performance of our procedures, but there is the opportunity, I guess, there that could be because those duties aren't properly segregated. But again, if you looked at a number of audit reports of counties your size and even smaller, you would see that finding there. And then the others related to some budget, special revenue budgets that needed to be adopted. I don't think that we've adopted in the past, and some recording of that related activity to some of those funds as well. So again, none of these are new. These we reported again, I guess, last year as well.
Mr. Monroe, what you just mentioned there about the recordings and all, is that, did you list that in the audit, in the big booklet about ones that you might make a suggestion of?
Yes, sir. In the CAFR, those four are reported in the back of your CAFR.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. And if we kind of flip on over to page 16, it's probably the most exciting part of this whole document. It's all the new GASB standards that have come out over the past few years. I'm sure you all will want to catch up on these later on tonight. But we only anticipate a couple of these having some significant impact. We've already started conversations with Kim on how to best implement those, so we don't expect there being any issues as it relates to those. So. And any of the other new ones, you know, GASB's been incredibly busy. We're all the way up to GASB 97 now. That's about 65 new standards since 2003. So they continue to be very busy and continue to throw changes our way. So we're dealing with them as they come. If you flip all the way through all of that over to page 29, it just kind of talks about some value-added services we provide. We provide free quarterly to our clients. And these letters department can take part in those value-added services. So, and that pretty much concludes what I wanted to report to you all today. Again, a clean opinion. Certainly enjoy serving you all and look forward to serving you in the future. And if you have any questions about the audit, be happy to answer those.
Any questions for Mr. Monroe? Yes, ma'am.
This is Trey Scott. Trey Monroe is your bond counsel. I kept wondering why they called you.
Well, and downstairs he said, I don't have a Trey Scott on the list. I've got a Trey Monroe.
It dawned on me when somebody said Monroe. I
tell you.
said, I went back and I looked at the agenda. I said, that's why.
How about note that on your audit?
Trey Scott.
As a finding.
Spell check.
Right.
In disguise.
Working together.
There's another Trey that we work with, Trey Monroe. So that's how that worked. The other thing is, I saw some eyes kind of light up when you said in June, there's 6 months of operational expenditures and fund balance. My monthly report to them identifies undesignated, unreserved fund balance that we use for months of operational reserve. So by the time June comes, and our tax billing is a little later than October.
He said
So usually in June, we're lower than 6 months. But you are counting, and so I want them to understand the difference, you're counting total fund balance, not just undesignated, unreserved. So that's why when I come to you and I say, well, we have 2.5 months, or we have 3.7, it's not the 6 months, because I'm only looking at undesignated, unreserved.
Yeah, I apologize
So
for that.
I just wanted to make sure, while you were here, everybody heard that.
Certainly.
Well, I think you answered, we always ask you how does Liberty County compare? I think you answered that question. And no findings, appreciate that. Appreciate, Kim, the work you, the department does, and under Mr. Brown's administration, always do a good job. So it's encouraging us, sir, to hear this audit report. Thank you so much. Any questions for Mr. Scott while he's before us?
I'm sorry, for some reason it looked like Monroe on there.
The only question I thought they might ask, didn't, yeah, we know you have to deal with them, that's not a good expression. You have to work with several departments other than we say Joey's departments. All that went smoothly?
It did. It does. Yeah, absolutely. We're used to that kind of dynamic with all counties. So no issues there.
Well, good, great. Glad you had a good experience. All right.
Mr. Chairman, on the, and Kim too, with monies that was brought in for COVID relief, how will that be? Is that going to be a separate?
So we actually had to record that in fiscal year 2021, because that's when we received it. We were originally going to accrue that back when we thought we earned it, but we had to record that in 2021, so that'll be in your current year financials when we close this year. We did receive 1.3 million, I think somewhere around 1.3 million in COVID relief money from the state that we filed for reimbursement for. That was quite an endeavor. But it was in a couple of different rounds, but we got it all in, and I keep wondering if they're gonna offer more money, but I haven't heard that they are.
Mr. Walton, it'll be booked as a grant. It was actually a grant from DCA.
It's in the general fund, but it's recorded under a grant object code.
Okay.
So it's like a one-time infusion of cash.
I just wondered, because it was that one particular time that you would get that, whether it's a grant for the airport or whatever, does it have to be held out in one particular account? But you just put it in the general fund.
We put it in the general fund. Put it in the general fund, that's where we took the expenses from too,
Okay.
when we filed for reimbursement.
So it's easy to keep up with how much you've spent then. I mean, then that if you get 4.5 million or whatever it is, you'll know that when 4.5 million comes out the general fund, that's all you'll be able to use for this COVID portion, right? I mean.
Not exactly.
Not exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, we're
We
not
have
taking money out of
tracked
the general
COVID
fund
expenses.
above and beyond.
Yeah, we have tracked COVID
You got it.
expenses
You got it.
specifically. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're,
We have identified those
I
and
mean,
and segregated those into specific accounts so that if there is a chance or availability to be able to get more money,
then we
we are
Right.
sitting ready to file for
say we spent this.
it. Right.
Yeah, yes, sir, you on it.
Well, now, let me ask you something, Mr. Chairman, just along with that. So the county got some, the county as in us, or was that the county including the hospital authority,
They got their own.
the health department and all that? So
I
wonder
don't
what the
know, I don't know
dollar
about the
amount was.
hospital and the health department. Now, I know the other municipalities,
Yeah.
all were given
Hospital guys.
a pro rata share that they were eligible to apply for. So City of Hinesville, City of Walterville, City of Riceboro, City of Flemington, so everybody had the opportunity to apply for what the state basically apportioned to that specific governmental entity based on, I'm assuming it's population. Not sure how they divvied it up, but, you know, some cities got more than others, and I think it was all based on population.
So we got a pretty good,
We think we did okay.
Countywide,
Yes, we
including
did.
all the
And
municipalities, yeah.
matter of fact, when we were setting the millage back in the winter, back in November or December, that was one of the things that we were able to use so that we didn't have to increase the millage rate more than we did. And we even identified that separately, is that that included incorporating that 1.3 million into our revenues, because without that, we would have had to increase the millage even more.
And we were hoping for that second round, that never did come,
We
so.
were hoping for the second round that has not yet.
Y'all are
waiting
not
on
the
that
only
first
ones.
round.
Yeah. Any other
Thank you.
questions? for-
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. It's like somebody want to sweep streets.
Last but not least, you know, you always got to clean up.
Talk about my dirt roads while you're up there, please, sir.
All right. Good evening, Chairman, Commissioners,
Good
and
evening.
the side commissioners. No, we sent out proposals for a new street sweeper. Ours just ain't getting the job done. That simple. And we got the proposals back, and I think Waste Built out of Savannah was the high score on it.
Yeah.
And that would be the committee's recommendation to go with Waste Built.
It's the one we currently have, are we trading it in on it?
Yes,
Or
we're
We're going to trade
trading
it,
in,
get
yeah.
rid of it? We only have the one?
Only have the one, yep.
Okay, we're going to get a brand new one.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Wells?
Yeah, I do, Mr. Chairman. No, Waste Built is the company, do you, what's the make of that,
It's a Freightliner
Freightliner?
truck on a Timco 600 sweeper.
Okay. And
The Waste Built is the same one we buy all our garbage trucks and all that stuff.
Freightliner, and all, it's a Freightliner truck,
Yep.
or the chassis,
Yep.
Freightliner. Okay, now, and you said it's, you mentioned Timco, what did you say about Timco?
It's the Model 600, the sweeper.
Okay. Okay.
I think it's the same model y'all use.
Same one that we got, yeah. Well, when I saw Timco here in Waste Built, then we going with Waste Built. I know Timco is the,
Yeah,
is
they sell them. Timco was and we got a bid, a proposal from Timco.
on Timco.
themselves, but,
Okay,
Yeah, they sell them, a dealer.
okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I want to, and I thought Commissioner Gillard was going to talk about it a little bit, but we were looking at some of the areas that was going to need street sweeping, and I'm sure there was areas that we didn't see. But let's just say, I know Commissioner Thrift just had a road in her area. I mean, it don't have curb on it, but will you sweep that road?
I have used our sweeper a few times. The only time I've used it on a road that does not have curbs, if we're clipping shoulders or something and the dirt's real bad, left if the asphalt's rough or pitted in the dirt, I have used it to street.
But I mean,
sweep.
how does that thing, I mean, I know you can drive it, but it's a pretty good haul from one end of the county to the other. I mean, what you've got, you're using them right around here in the, within the city limits, but I mean, what will you put that on, Clint, the lowboy to bring it, or?
No, you have to drive it.
Really?
Drive it.
This truck, I mean, it runs 65 mile an hour.
So, in the future though, I'm talking about, you don't want to wear it out running it down the highway, so you're gonna look at, with the T-Splosh and everything we got, you're gonna be looking for another one in 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much road paving. One sweeper, I mean, it'll do a lot. It's,
Yeah, we thought one grader was gonna do a lot.
yeah. We have paved roads, and there's a lot inside the cities that we don't sweep,
Right.
Later on, it may be that we get into that, but
You know as much as anybody, I mean, I just, we looked at different places, and even in Walterville and Allenhurst, there's areas that's gonna have to be swept, and, I mean, right now, they're not.
Yeah. Well,
Even,
I think, Eddie, you know, when we talked about the street sweeper, we had mentioned that even with the smaller municipalities, we grade the roads. Let's say Walthamville, we grade the dirt roads in Walthamville, and eventually, over time, they'll be paved. So if our maintenance is done with the grader, then, and we pave it, then what kind of maintenance do we do then? And it'll be sweeping, I guess.
There'd be maintenance whether it's a dirt road or a paved road.
Right, yeah.
Always
But
some
one, a paved road with a gutter, the maintenance, mostly sweeping, then I guess you have to do some pothole patching if it develops. Eddie and I were, what's Commissioner Stevens? We rolled out.
Roll down District 1.
Yeah. But and I don't know what road that was, Eddie, but it was a good bit of debris, sand, and dirt and stuff I guess it was a subdivision down
I
by
think
Yellow Bluff or somewhere there.
actually, the other end of the road that Commissioner Stevens is paving now.
Yes.
Yeoman Road, the
Right.
paved portion right there.
And that road, along with several others, is a mess, and it's simply, there's so much pine straw, and our sweeper just will not pick it up. Pine straw and leaves,
Yeah.
just won't. We go in there once in a while to broom and clean it.
Well, and also, I guess maybe it's part of Commissioner Jones or Commissioner Stevens' district. On 84, once you cross the overpass, right there by St. Peter's, there's a little bit of curve and gutter right there till you get up to 196 to Leroy Cofer. Then it picks up around Joseph Miller Park, and then there's some across the street at the store at Bill Carter Road. I mean, just little stretches, but it is some curve and gutter on 84, and the state is not going to do it. It is the unincorporated area of the county. It'll enhance the appearance of it, but I'm quite sure that you got enough to keep you busy. But it is some stuff out there that does need some attention to it.
Yeah, I'd be the first to tell you, the curb and gutter roads, they need some attention.
Yeah.
It's not anymore
no way
about
around it.
getting by. I mean, I'm just gonna say, it's not just about getting by anymore. We've already seen getting by is good for a period of time, but, I mean, when we all knew we had one or two fire trucks, one or two ambulances, and I can tell you, we need to be looking down the road, forward thinking about things like, stuff like that. I mean, the man just showed us a picture of the courthouse. Well, the courthouse ain't even there no more. We 100 yards away from the courthouse anymore, so, we just need to be looking at things like that. And I mean, in Hinesville, I don't mind telling you, we get ours swept, but there are areas that, we need to try to look at it, and the time comes that we've decided, hey, we want to get rid of the one that's in pretty good shape, then, I mean, our smaller cities may want them, but we know what's, growth is, there's nothing we can do about it. We're gonna have to, take the bull by the horns and move with it. So, just be thinking about it, look at it. I mean, I don't think this board would just turn you down for no reason, but, if it's brought up and we can justify it, Joey's got the checkbook.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we go ahead and
Yeah.
approve the one we can buy for now. Get him going. We'll go with the recommendation from the committee to go with waste built.
I second that.
Is that right? $243,700.
I'm sorry.
A lot of truck.
I second it.
I didn't know it could go that fast. I thought they had to go slow. I'm like him, but I didn't know it could drive 65.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Well, you get the sweeper up and go.
Yeah, I did not know that.
I seen it didn't go.
Mr. Chairman, just picture the motor grader going down the road.
Talking about how fast they go, Mr. Chairman, we years ago, we bought one from Timco, which is out of Waco, Texas. And the dealer or the vendor flew my guys out there, and they drove
They drove it back, yeah.
James Henry drove,
Yeah.
him and another guy, they went, they
Go
drove.
back.
way
Wow,
from
I
Texas
did
back
not
and
know they made it for the road like that.
Slipped away
It's
from
a-
Texas.
They didn't do any sweeping on the way back, but it's a regular truck.
I did not think, I thought it was,
Regular truck.
Commissioner Yoder, I guess.
I thought it was a turtle.
Look at the demonstrator, it goes down the road.
Yeah.
Lay it up and.
Yeah, come back, yeah, true.
Thank y'all.
All right, all in favor? All right, motion passes. Thank you, sir.
Clean broom, always.
How your dirt roads doing with all the wet rain and stuff? I hadn't heard anything.
Got some that's a little messy, but nothing impassable, or nothing that's not going. And we got them caught back up. End of last week, we got them all caught up, and we actually we have unfortunately had to start buying some dirt and working on some in Woodland Lakes. Commissioner Jones over there, some of them little roads, but
You use up all your dirt on Airport Road out of that pit over there?
that dirt's not. You can't use it on the dirt road.
Okay.
It's a good hard pan mix if you want to
Yeah.
build something, but
Yeah. Other
you
than
just
that,
can't put it on the dirt road.
Bad part.
all right.
It won't hold together.
Yeah.
One I mentioned, we talked about the other day.
Yeah, I got a pit, I looked at the other day for Mr. Phil Odom, actually. And it looks like pretty decent dirt, but it's so wet till I can't get in and do anything. I'm gonna try to get in there this week with a machine and just to get it started and see what it looked like. I got one there and I got one on Lewis Frazier that a guy's want me to look at. But we have been advertising for dirt. If anybody knows anybody that wants a pond dug that's got good dirt,
Yeah.
'cause like I say, I'm having to buy some now.
Mr. Chairman, I've said this over and I'll say it again to Mr. Wells, since he's standing up there to the road department. If you look at other counties after rain, heavy rain, first thing you hear is on TV, schools shut down. I don't think no schools in Liberty County has been shut down in years due to the road. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's true.
and it's through y'all funding, buying us the stuff we need to make it work. And I got some good guys that do it.
Take the message back to them. We appreciate what they're doing.
Sure do.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. Mr. Brown?
Just a reminder about Thursday's work session.
What time is that?
8:30 at the airport.
8:30 at the airport, okay.
Thursday.
So we're gonna
Yes, sir.
I got one thing I just want to mention. We need to go back and somehow or another look at how some procedures in Liberty County is handled on zoning. Look at fees for the participants who do not obey the rules and regulations of Liberty County and not just come out and tap them on the hand. Because I got a situation right now, it looked like it was much more cheaper for them to disobey bill and then come and ask for forgiveness. We need to take a serious look at this. Like Mr. Brown, you aware of what I'm talking about, Mr. Chairman?
I am.
So
Yes, sir.
we can bring it up at our airport.
I've asked Mr. Davis to look at it. So,
It's very disheartening.
yeah. Maybe make some phone
Liberty
calls,
County,
Joey,
we
to other
can't-
counties
we
and see
try
how.
to do things the right way, and they get, well, then someone else comes in and do things the wrong way, and they still get a fly.
All right, thank you,
One
sir.
time, Mr. Stevens, you come into Liberty County, the very first thing you did was buy a license. You don't do that anymore. You don't buy a license for anything. You know it? That's the first thing that, we don't do that anymore. Come into Liberty County, do whatever you want to do. But if they don't have a license, then you stop them right then. But, I mean, you know, a state license is good for any county you work for anymore. So that's all they got to do. They can get a state license and somewhere and come in here and, we never know they're here. Really.
But
So that may be our first avenue. State license, move forward.
if you have none, if you have none, then you still
Well, I mean, if
proceed.
they don't have any license, then you stop them immediately, but you don't have a way to stop them anymore.
And that's what I'm saying, this is something that we need to
Yeah.
look
We're
into.
gonna explore it. Put some teeth to it. All right, anything else for the good of the order? Thank you, Mr. Stevens. There being none, Chair, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, all in favor? We stand adjourned. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Sure, thank you.